Hello everyone, welcome back to the third lecture of the series. Last lecture we discussed modeling of column and beams. Now today we see modeling of the different types of beams. So here in beam, last lecture we have seen to model the simple beam. Now let's see polybeam. So create a polybeam. Polybeam means what? A beam that passes through the points you pick. So suppose if I'm selecting this beam and now I'm clicking on the different points like here, then next here. So the points which you want that beam pass through, over there you have to click, and then once you complete with this, just click the middle mouse button. So now you can see the polybeam is get modeled over here. Now this beam is a continuous beam. Now there is one more speciality of this beam, that here if you select this beam you can see such type of blue dots are there. Okay, these blue dots are gives you, or it allows you to directly modify the beam, and this will be possible only when this direct modification selection bar is active. Right now if you see, I have just unselect this, so now those blue dots are not available there. Now if I am selecting this, all these blue dots are available over there. Now here if you want, you just select this point and then drag it as per your way, and you can just modify the beam the way you want to model it. Okay, this is the option of direct modification, which is available or allowed only in case of what? Modifying the polybeams. Okay, so these beams are called as an polybeams. Now the next type of beam is curved beam. If you select the curved beam, here it is written that pick the start point of the beam. So this is the start point. Pick a point that you want to beam go through. Then here I'm clicking over here and then pick the end point. So now you can see the curved beam is added, which is passing through that point. And if you model these properties over here, you can see the same properties are over there, and only you can see the radius is get added. If further if you want to convert this beam into straight beam, just see how to make this radius as a 0, and now click on modify. You can see this beam get turned to straight beam. Okay, again if you want to convert it into the curved beam, just you have to add that radius, and this will get turned to a curved beam. And by increasing the number of segments, you can just make that curve as a smooth curve. Okay, so this is what can add the curved beam. The next is what? Adding the twin profile. Twin profile means what? The same type of section is get added back to back as a twin profile. So if you select this twin profile command, then you can add the beam which is twin in section. You can see this. We'll just make it into 3-dimensional view. Now you can see here there is what? Two beams L sections are there. This is one section and this is another section. So this we called it as a twin profile. Normally in case of modeling the bracings, we are using this twin profile command. Now if you want, you can just change the orientation of this, and even if you want, you can change the section or profile properties of these profiles. Suppose if I am changing this rotation front, you can see this is get changed to front. Now similarly if I change the rotation of this to front, okay, now these are get changed. Again if you want a gap between these two, for example, then I will just move these beams by giving the on plane position, let's say 10 mm, modify. You can see this is moved by 10 mm. Similarly we'll move this as a 10 mm. Sometimes we have to model a plate in between these two beams, so that time this is useful over there. Okay, so this is how we are creating or modeling the twin profile beams. Then the next type of beam is orthogonal beam. So normally orthogonal beam is more used to model the purlins or change the work plane to match the slope of the roof So if you select this orthogonal beam, you can see it's just a pick a point to create a beam. So if I'm clicking the point, you can see the orthogonal beam is get modeled. So normally, whenever we are modeling the orthogonal beam, you can see that you have to just click a single point. Otherwise, for modeling all other types of beam, minimum you have to click the two number of points. But in case of orthogonal beam, you have to just click on one single point. Normally, to mark the cantilevers, this orthogonal beam is get used. Then the next type of beam is the spiral beam. So here in the picture it is shown the spiral beam. If you want to create these spiral beams along the spiral staircase or along the uh, horizontal or vertical planes, then by using this spiral beam option you can model the spiral beam. So you have to just select this spiral beam. Here it is said pick the start point. Okay, so I'm just picking over here the start point. Then you have to go for the pick the center point of the spiral. Suppose I'm clicking over here, and then you have to just click the direction in which direction you want to model it. If I'm clicking on vertical, you can see vertical spiral beam is created. Now, if you see the properties of this beam, properties of all other types of beams are same. Only in case of properties of spiral beam, here in geometry section, there are some additional points are provided. Like here, rotation angle is given, 720 is the angle. For example, if I am making this as a 360 degree, you can see the changes over there. Now you can see only 360 degree it will get rotated. Similarly, if I make it 720, then two rounds of spirals are available over there. Similarly, if you go with this 980 something, then you can see one more spiral round is created over there. Similarly, total rise currently it is 2000. If I make it as a 1000, then all these spirals are provided in the 1000 mm height. Okay, so this way you can model it, and even you can change the radius also. If you click on this from the center, and if I make the radius as a 500 of this spiral, click on enter, you can see the spiral radius is changed. Okay, so this is how you can model the spiral beams. Sometimes to model certain kind of pipes, this option can also be useful. Okay, so this is what related to different types of beams. Okay, now in the next class we see modeling of plate. Till that, thank you.